So as you can see, topic of the day are beets. Now, these are little small guys. They'll cook up fairly quick. First thing we got to do is get these to the point where they're edible. So we have to roast them off. Now I've washed these guys, but we need to trim these down. So take off this little tail, take off the stem. These, we're going to use these, save them. Pop that in there. Little flavor. First we'll little pepper. Why? Because that's what I grabbed first. Little salt. Hit with a little bit of olive oil. Oh yeah, aluminum foil. Definitely the tool for the job here. And I've got some thyme, been hanging around for a while. Let's just use it all up, get rid of it. Well, I'd rather get rid of it here than in the circular bin over there. So we'll just wrap this up. Pop it in the oven. It's probably going to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on what she feels like doing today. What you want to look for is take a paring knife, stick it into the end, and you want it to go through with a little bit of resistance, but pretty much slide thread through. Oh, also beets. I've got red ones here. You can get golden, you can get candy cane, you can get multiple different colors. Also, the little tiny ones, those are delicious. They're a little bit more to work with, but they are delicious, and I've used them many times at different restaurants. Just delicious. I'm gonna pop these in for a sec. Okay, those are in. Like I said, it's gonna take a while. Let's take a look at these. I'm just going to pull the leaves off of these. Like I said, we're gonna use the leaves on these, and it's actually gonna be in the final dish. But since usually when you get beets, like I said, get it with the leaves. The leaves are good. They I love beet greens. They taste really good. But usually there's not enough beet greens to make, well, this is probably just under one serving for me. So I'm going to supplement it with some other greens, but I got to go to the store to do that. And I'm going to do that while those are roasting off. And we'll see you in a little bit. Hey, I've got the beets roasted off. They took a couple of hours. Fortunately, I got called away and I had to stop them and restart them. And that was the one thing about these is that you can do. It's not going to make too much of a difference. But let's make a plate with this. We'll start off with this red onion. I'm just going to roast it off. Cut it in half. Trim off the end there. And of course peel it. Now this end, I'm not going to cut it completely off. I'm just going to trim it down just a little bit because I want it to be able to hold together a bit. Then I'm going to come in and just cut wedges out of this. Be careful. So I've got wedges. They're holding together pretty good. Just gonna hit it with a little bit of olive oil on the pan. Flip them over a little bit. Make sure you get a nice coating on them. If they fall apart a little bit, it's not going to matter too much. As long as you get a nice little char on it. Not really char, we're looking for a nice little sear on it. A little bit of salt and pepper. Here's the pepper. And of course the salt. Pop this in the oven. That'll take about 15-20 minutes. The next step, we're going to make a little bit of a dressing. I've got lemon, fermented honey. You can use regular honey if you need to. It won't have that depth of flavor, but you know, if I realize that this is a difficult product to find sometimes, so we're going to start off with our lemon. And essentially, we're going to make a little bit of a vinaigrette. So lemon, squeeze it into the bowl. Pull the seeds out. So in that lemon, I probably got about half a cup. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of the fermented honey. Salt and pepper, of course. Give that a little bit of a whisk. And we'll start adding in some olive oil. I went for about a 50-50 mix for the lemon juice and the olive oil. A little sharp. I think it needs a little bit more of the honey. That's another tablespoon or so. There we go. It's right there. Set that off to the side. And then I'm going to set up for a quick little saute. I've got the onions going. I got my vinaigrette going. And let's put everything else together. Oh, might as well smash up this garlic while I'm here. There is one more thing we need to prep before I put together this plate. And that's the beets. I've got this one cut in half, and that's about all I'm going to need because I'm making just one plate here. First things first, I need to trim these ends off. Just take a little bit off of that. And once you do that, you can peel the skin off. First thing we need to do is we can either slice these or cut wedges or whatever. I'm going to cut wedges out of these. Now I peeled these already. And we'll just cut some wedges. Because I want kind of a big chunk to really show off the beets. Look at that beautiful color in there. And the color on my fingers too. Hey, I'm back. Coming up with a dish for us to work with and to use these beets in. Like I said, I've got about half a beet wedged up. First thing we're going to do, the onions. I also threw some tomatoes on there, some heirloom cherry tomatoes in there because I wanted to get a little char on those too. Those just came out of the oven. They got a nice little sear on them, and they're looking pretty good. So we need to cook up all the other stuff that goes with the dish. So I'm gonna start off by warming up my my pan. So for the main body of the dish, I've got the greens from the beets. I've got the beets themselves. I had, just looking through my refrigerator, I had some leftover farro. This is fairly simple to make. I use chicken stock, bring it to a boil, drop it back to a simmer. 4 cups of chicken stock to 1 cup of, this is whole farro. It hasn't been pearled or semi-pearled. So this is gonna take a while. It takes about 50 minutes or so. And again, 4 cups of liquid. What you could do to make sure that you're not using too much liquid or not using enough liquid is to start off with, say, 2 or 3 cups and then slowly add more as you need it until they're nice and they popped open and they're nice and chewy. Mine are just before they get chewy, pop open. So we'll start things off. My pan's hot. Get some olive oil in there. Flash in the garlic. This is gonna go quick here. Then get the green sauteing off. Little smoke. If you've got good ventilation, time to use it. Greens, sauteing greens are so easy, simple to do. I love them. And again, these are the beet greens. You pay for them, you might as well use them. So let's throw in the farro. Just a little bit. That's probably a 1/4 cup. I've got the beets going in there. When you cook off or recook grains, you're always going to want to add a little bit of water. They always need just a little bit more. Now, one thing you're also going to notice with the red beets, you cook something with red beets, everything's going to be red. Just be forewarned. If you don't like that, use golden beets. My local supermarket carries them regularly. Okay, that's pretty much it for those. We'll go on to the next item. This is halloumi. It's a Cypriot cheese, similar to feta, but it's a much firmer texture, almost to the point of rubbery. So we're gonna get a good sear on this. So hit it with some olive oil. A lot of the recipes I've seen for this stuff are gonna say to use a non-stick pan. I have yet to have any problems with them sticking here. So first things first, we're just gonna do 3 of them. A little seasoning, salt and pepper. Season side down, let that sear up. Yes, we're cooking cheese. A little more seasoning. Give it a little bit of a shake to make sure that it's moving. Now, one thing about this, and I'm going to turn the heat down, you want to cook this through, but it's also going to take on a nice sear. So I turned it down so that we can get a little more heat into it and not over caramelize, aka burn. There we go, look at that. It's beautiful. Cook the other side, and we're pretty much ready to plate this. So we got a plate. We put the greens and the beets And the farro down the center. Strategically place some beets down. We'll throw on some of our charred onion and our charred tomatoes. And again, I got some heirlooms here, so I've got different colors. It's like really pretty. All right. Now, let's get our cheese down. Give that a little bit of a sear on the other side. Okay. Place our cheese down the center. Turn off our pan, we don't need that anymore. Now I'm going to grab a spoon. Give our dressing a little bit of a stir. Now again, with the dressing, I don't necessarily need a full emulsification, just a little bit, just so it kind of clings together. And our lemon dressing goes over top. Finally, we're going to garnish this with just a little bit of dill. We've got a vegetarian dish made with beets, with halloumi, some beet greens, a little bit of farro. Farro will give it a little bit more body to it, which I kind of like. And a lot of this stuff, this is all stuff I had in the refrigerator. Yeah, okay, the farro, you know, I had that because I was working on a different recipe. But if you have other grains, barley would work with this. Wheat berries, feel free to use those. Or even if you just want to use brown rice in this, that's fine. Okay, I'm Chef Terry. This is my dish, and it's delicious.